Hey guys, welcome back to tutorial number 2 of our Unity Game Development Beginner series. Excuse me. Um, as we left off last time, we had so far this behavior. We made our first script in which we talked about this behavior. So what we want to do very quickly is we want to try and bring in the second car and update our changes in our script to accommodate for both the cars. Now, you might think it's very easy, and it is, but there will be some key changes that we have to make. So very quickly, what I'm going to do is first things first, actually, I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it scenes, right? And inside my scenes folder, I'm going to go ahead and press Control S here to save my current existing scene, right? So this is I'm just going to call it game scene, okay? Uh, this is so that you don't lose any progress, right? If there's any, if your computer shuts off or your battery dies or something, it's always important to back up your work. Okay, going back to what I was saying. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the second player into my scene, right? Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to try and position it here, but I need to make sure that it's at the same Y value. So I'm going to take a peek at this car, our first car, and I notice this car is at minus 6.5, so I'm going to go ahead and put my other car also at minus 6.5. Okay, so now that they are vertically aligned, I need to start thinking about the second car's X position. I renamed this car meanwhile. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this other car, and I'm going to call it right car. It's always good to have descriptive names. So let's see, let's look for... Okay, so it looks like 1.15 looks nice. I was just checking this in the meantime. So yeah, this looks nice, and 3.30. This also looks nice. So okay, all right. So we already know that for this right car, min x is going to be 1.15, and max x is going to be 3.30. And we'll also give this a speed of 5. Now, if I try to run this now, this is going to have some weird behavior. And I'm going to run it first, and then I'll show you why. Okay, so according to our existing script, what should happen is as soon as I press click, the direction, which is initially set to 0 for both the cars now, should then be turned to right. If you remember, if you have a look here, it checks here and it sees that if the if the direction is vector 2.0, it changes it to right. So what's going to happen is it's going to be vector 2.0 for both of them, but it's going to change the direction for this one to go right, but this one will not be able to go right. That is at least what we think is going to happen, and sure enough, it happens. Now when I press it again, they'll start working just fine, but that's not the behavior that we want anyways. So basically, we need to have some way of determining from within our script which car we are accessing, right? So an easy way of doing that would be to just come over here and make a public bool function, okay, bool variable, and is car left. Okay, so basically I made a boolean variable. I made it public so that it gets exposed in the inspector. As soon as I save it, and if I go back to my Unity, when I go on any of my cars now, you notice that there is this exposed additional variable, is car left. So in the case of is car left, I'm going to check it, and in the case of car right, I'm going to leave it unchecked. So now the script will know which car I'm talking about. And within the script, using this boolean variable, we can add in some additional logic to make sure that the cars are behaving exactly what we want. So for example, initially in the start function, we were changing the direction to 0, but now we can think about doing some other changes. So what we can do is maybe we can initially just check which car it is, okay? So if is car left is true, we can, set the direction with respect to car left, or else we can set the direction with respect to car right. Okay, so if it's coming in here, it's car left, and if it's coming in here, it's car right. Okay, so what can we do right now? Okay, when we have a look at this car left, it's already on the left, right? So when I first press my mouse button, then this car should move to the right. Okay, does that make sense? So this car should be moving to the right when I press my button, and this car should be moving to the left. Okay, now when I go back to our logic, and if I look at it here, in order to make my car go in the right direction, I need its initial vector 2 direction to be left. Okay, if I go here and if I do something like this, direction equals vector 2 dot left. Now think about this for a second. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but what I'm saying here is I'm saying that if I'm the left car, then in the very beginning I should set its direction equal to left. Okay, so it's trying to go left initially. But as soon as I click, when it comes in here, it's going to check and it's going to see that my direction is left, and for that reason it's going to change my direction to right, and therefore my left car will then move to the right initially. Alright, okay, so we need to do the same thing except opposite for our other car. So I'm going to go ahead and make this direction right. Okay, so now we have some idea of which direction or the correct direction for the cars. Okay, now these comments are pretty well intuitive, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. Okay, just format this a little bit better. Okay, all right, so now what we need to do is we need to, if I save this now, right, and if I play it, still both the cars would move together, even though they might kind of move correctly, as you can see. What now we need to do is we need to make sure that if we click on this side of the screen, then it should move this car only, and if I click on this side of the screen, it should move this car only. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Okay, so we're going to be changing some things around. Okay, the first thing we now have we now have a Boolean variable which is going to tell our script if it's the right car or the left car, right? So as soon as when I get into my update function, the first thing I need to do is I need to check which car I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do if is car left do something, right? So here so here we'll have the code for the left car, else we'll have the code for the right car. Okay, now the code for them will be pretty much the same, but we still have to make this distinction, right? Okay, so if this is our car, we need to go ahead and copy this stuff here all the way inside. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove it from here. Let's put it in here. Okay, so if is car left, do all that. Okay, now at the moment, what's going to happen is when I save and run it, right, only one of the cars should be moving, which is some progress, because if I tap once or if I click once, I want just one car moving. Okay, so we just got the one car, that is the left car moving. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to make sure that this left car only moves when I press on this left side of my screen. Okay, so an easy way of doing that is when I'm checking my if condition here for the mouse click, I can also check where on the screen the user is clicking. So a good way to do that is input dot mouse position dot x is less than equal to screen dot width divided by 2. Okay, let's think about this for a second. In my if condition, I'm checking here if a mouse button is pressed, and at the same time, the x coordinate of this click has to be less than or equal to half the size of my screen. So if it's pressed anywhere here, so you divide the screen in half, and if it's pressed anywhere over here, only this car should move, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and save this quickly, jump back here and play it, and see how it goes. So you notice when I'm clicking here, it's moving fine. When I'm clicking here, it's moving fine. But when I click here, it's not working. And here, it's not working. And here, it's not working. Let me maximize it on play. Okay, so when I click here, my car moves. When I click here, it does not move. So it seems to be working, right? All of this makes sense. We checked if it's our left car, and if it's our left car, then inside this, we are checking whether or not we clicked on the left side of the screen, and if we did, then we are setting the direction, right? If we click on the right side of the field, then we are not updating the direction for this left car, okay? So we can quickly go ahead and copy this entire code, okay? And I can go ahead and simply put this in here, except all I need to do is flip the switch here, okay? So in this case, it's going to be checking whether I'm clicking on the right side of the screen, and if I am, then change the position, or I mean the direction of the right car, okay? So we come back here, let's press play, and now when I press here, only one car is moving, and it's the right car, and over here it's also moving just one car, which is the left car. Okay, so now we've got our cars moving, and in the spirit of keeping my videos as short as possible, I think this should be it for this video. Okay, once again, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.